How's it going, guys? My name is Rich AK with AK Growth, a production house focused on intent-driven marketing. And today I want to talk to you about Facebook's ad product and the best way to be utilizing Facebook today in order to get customers and prospects to convert. And before you watch this video, if you haven't watched a previous video called The Awareness Transition, I highly recommend you do because it all starts with the actual content that you create. So if your creative isn't very good, this video won't be as effective. So please make sure to watch that other video to get a mindset of how you should be approaching your creative, and then jump back into this one so that you can have the best results possible. Let's get into it. So when it comes to Facebook's ad product, we know a couple things. We know that Facebook's ad product also works on Instagram, and we know that video is pretty much always higher engagement, higher conversion than photos or just text. So we have those two things set. Now, let's focus on just the video, because video not only has a better engagement, but they have better metrics available inside of Facebook's ad manager. And we're gonna get into those in just a second, but for now, let's talk about touch points and let's dive into the mindset of a person who's never heard of your company before and is seeing your advertisement for the very first time. So let's put ourselves into the shoes of our prospect. They've never heard of us before, but we know that those are the kinds of people that we want to target. Because we focused on our demographics, we have a sense of where they live, who they are, what kind of people they are, what they do. So there's already a little bit of targeting going on. But you know, they've had a really long day and they're just scrolling through their Facebook feed. They don't really care too much. They're kind of just zoning out a little bit, and then they come across your ad. Now, a lot of people aren't even going to look at it because pattern recognition states that the more you see something that you don't want to, the easier it is to ignore it. But let's say that they get interested. Let's say that they, you know what, let me watch this. The autoplay feature starts going as they're kind of scrolling past, and they're like, oh, okay, and they stop for a second and watch, and hopefully you have captions enabled. But whatever, it doesn't really ring too much of a bell. So they keep on scrolling past. So let's dive into the next week. And the next week, we create another campaign. And it's targeting those people. So this time, they have a little bit more context on who we are. Hopefully you have a pretty recognizable brand logo. Hopefully you have a certain voice that appeals to people, that people can remember, that people can think about. Those are all very important aspects, and that all ties into the creative. But from a purely data perspective, that's not giving us too much to work with. So we need to make sure that we continue to build things upon each other and create those touch points so that those people can just keep seeing who we are over and over and over and over again until they feel like we're family. That's cool. That's important, because we want to make sure that people know us, people recognize us. And the only way we can do that is by constantly putting ourselves in front of the same person. Now, if they don't like our creative, they're not gonna like our creative. We don't have any control over that specific person, and that's okay. But what we do have control over is the amount of times those same people can see us. If someone's constantly being bombarded by all different types of stimulus, the only way to capture that person's attention, if they don't know about you, is to keep putting yourself in front of their face. Is to make sure their eyes are looking at what you're saying and at what you're doing. Those touch points create contextual value, and they build out the brand equity for who you are. That's why it's so important to look a certain way, to be a certain way, to act a certain way, because you don't want to mislead or misguide those people. Now, let's get into the actual Facebook part of this. And in Facebook ads, there's video product, and video product has a very specific type of metric that no other product has on Facebook. And it goes something along the lines of percentage of video watched at 25%. And then there's another metric called percentage of video watched at 50%. And then another one at 75, and then another one at 95, and then another one at 100. This is by far one of the most powerful metrics that you can use in order to retarget and build context with a prospective customer on Facebook. Once you start running your first video campaign, you're gonna start seeing these metrics populate. Out of 1,000 people who it's impressioned, 50 may have watched it to the 25% line and 14 may have watched it to the 50% line. That's okay. We want to run this video for a while and build out that demographic base so that by the end of that first campaign, we already have like 10,000 impressions and people have watched this video a significant amount of times, at least partially through. Now, that doesn't mean put everything on hold until you finish running this campaign. That's not the way this works. The way this works is you build out, your first contextual video, and then for the next video, you have to make 2 or 3 more revisions, 2 or 3 different versions for the 25% people, the 50% people, and the 75% people. And they're all gonna be contextually based. That's why it's important to go back and look at this from like a framework of, okay, we're kind of starting at the top and then we start waterfalling, trickling down into different people, because someone who watched the first video at 25% either A, does not care as much as the person who watches to the 75%, or B, does not know as much as the person who watches to the 75%. So those people need to have a different video than the person at 75%. Now, the beautiful thing about Facebook is that all this can be tracked, all this can be measured. So if you ran your first campaign and you know that you have 200 people who watched at 25%, you need to retarget those people for the 25% video. Whereas the people who watched at 75% should be getting a different type of video. Maybe they're further along in the branding or the sales process or the discovery phase, whatever it is that your intention is for that specific campaign. And so now we continue to build. The people who watched the second video are gonna get retargeted for a third video. And the people who watch the third video are gonna get retargeted for the fourth video. Whatever it is that you need to do, whatever it is that your intentions are, you need to make sure that your content strategy actually revolves around it. This isn't just you having some team tell you, hey, you're gonna make 20 Facebook posts today and put them up and boost them. That's not a content strategy. That's shooting in the dark and hoping you hit. But we're really here kind of taking a couple steps back, right? We really want to get into our customer's mind and understand how they work and how they function so that we can properly place our product in front of them. That's the magic of it. And it's so easy and it's so capable with these products, with these Facebook ad products, because it gives you everything that you need in order to get it done. So I really hope this video helps you. I hope this gives you a little bit of understanding into actually running a good Facebook campaign versus having people just say, go run a Facebook ad, and you being like, okay, but what does that mean? What is that gonna do for me? So now there's a process behind it. Now there's a reason behind how you're doing it. And once again, like, you can only get better at this with practice. So make sure that you're talking to your team about this kind of stuff. But what's really important is that you create the proper content for these customers. You want to make sure that you can actually engage them, because if your stuff, you may have the best product in the world, but if you can't get the awareness of the person on the other end of that line, then what's the point? No one's going to buy your product because you can't capture their attention like that. So make sure you focus on that before you get into all this technical stuff, because the technical stuff is actually pretty easy. It's all just measured data. It's all just measured numbers. But the creative, being able to reach into that screen and grab the customer's attention, that's hard. So that's also a practice skill though, and something that you can totally accomplish. If you guys need help with any of this, let me know. My name is Rich AK. I work at AK Growth, and I do this kind of stuff. I create media campaigns, I work with ad products, I work with all different types of fields in the internet marketing, quote unquote, world. So this is what I do for a living. I love it. I live, breathe, and die for this, honestly. And if you need any help, if you have questions about it for your business or stuff that you need to get done, let me know. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, reach out to me directly. You can even give me a call. I'm always available Monday through Sunday. My name is Rich AK. I work at AK Growth, and I hope you're having a great day.